Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a major deep dive today, really traveling back to the foundational eras of human civilization.
We really are. We've got sources on five very distinct, very ancient belief systems.
Immensely influential ones, too. We're looking at Zoroastrianism, Jainism, Taoism, Confucianism, and Shinto.
It's an ambitious mission, for sure. The goal here is not just to, list a bunch of facts.
No.
We want to synthesize the core beliefs, their origins, and their cultural impact. So you, the listener, can walk away with a clear idea of how these societies defined life, morality, the cosmos itself.
And the time frame here is just remarkable. Our sources cover centuries. Some of these threads potentially go back as far as 1700 BCE.
Especially when we talk about Zoroastrianism, yeah. But that whole period, and specifically what's often called the Axial Age, say 700 to 200 BCE, is just globally significant.
The Axial Age.
It's a moment where civilizations had matured enough that these profound philosophical structures started popping up almost at the same time all across the world.
It's like the human mind globally just hit a certain threshold of curiosity or something.
Precisely. People were moving beyond just local myths and were demanding, sophisticated answers about ethics, about governance, the meaning of it all.
So these systems weren't just telling people what to believe.
No, not at all. They were providing these structured guides for how to live.
That sets the stage perfectly. So let's start with a system that many people argue really laid the groundwork for a lot of Western monotheism.
Zoroastrianism.
Hailing from ancient Persia, so modern-day Iran, the founder, Zoroaster, Zarathustra, is a bit shrouded, but we're looking at origins between, 1700 and 600 BCE?
That's the general range. And what's so striking about it right away is its stance on monotheism. It centers on Ahura Mazda, the Lord of Wisdom.
The sole governing divine force.
But it's immediately complicated by this idea of conflict.
Right, the cosmic dualism.
Yes, and that is the vital concept. Existence is this ongoing 12,000-year struggle between Ahura Mazda, the good creator, and Angra Mainyu, the destructive, evil spirit.
And it all started with a choice.
That's the foundational teaching. At the beginning of time, these two spirits made a choice. One chose good, one chose evil.
And this isn't just some battle happening way out in the cosmos. It actually forces a choice on every single human.
That's the core of it. You aren't just an observer, you are an active participant.
Hmm.
You have to choose which side to support with your thoughts, your words, your deeds.
So it's all about personal accountability.
A huge degree of it, yeah. It established that life is inherently a war between these moral opposites.
This intense focus on purity, especially protecting the elements like earth and fire, it leads to one of the most visually unique details in our sources, their death ritual.
You're talking about the Dogma, the Tower of Silence?
The Tower of Silence, it's an unforgettable image.
It is. So when a Zoroastrian dies, the body is placed on top of this round, open-air structure, usually built on high, rocky ground.
Okay, hold on. Most cultures, they bury their dead or they cremate them. This seems so stark. Why do it this way?
It goes back to that absolute commitment to purity. The sources explain that once the soul is gone, the body is just an unclean vessel. It's a source of pollution.
So you can't contaminate the sacred elements.
You can't contaminate the earth by burying it, and you can't contaminate fire, which is revered, by cremating it. So they rely on nature. The body is exposed so that birds of prey, like vultures, consume the flesh.
It's such a powerful symbol of their whole worldview. Protect the sacred at all costs.
And you can't deny the historical impact. I mean, when we talk about later religions and concepts like a divine rival, a Satan figure, or a final judgment, heaven and hell,
You can trace a lot of that back to Zoroastrian thought.
the historical contributions are very clear.
Okay, so we have this cosmic conflict defined by choice and war. Let's pivot now, away from the cosmos and down to Earth, specifically to constructing the perfect earthly order.
So we're moving east to China and Confucianism.
Exactly. Founded by Kung-Fu-Tzu Confucius around 551 to 479 BCE. And this is fundamentally a philosophical system, right? Not really a religion.
It's an ethical manual for how to organize society, how to govern effectively. It's much less about a deity and much more about duty.
It's all about living a balanced life through studying tradition and then applying that knowledge. And the whole structure seems to rely on what he called the 5 relationships.
They're the essential architecture for a stable society. You have ruler and citizen, father and son, husband and wife, older brother and younger brother.
And then friend, the only one between equals.
Exactly. And each one dictates mutual respect, specific responsibilities, a whole code of conduct.
It sounds incredibly rigid, though. I mean, what happens if those rules conflict? What if your ruler is a tyrant? Does a citizen still owe them absolute loyalty?
Well, that's where the philosophy gets interesting. The obligation of the person on top is benevolence. The obligation of the person below is respectful obedience. If the superior fails in their virtue, if the ruler isn't benevolent, then the whole system starts to break down.
Which justifies a change.
It can, yes.
Yeah.
The whole thing depends on everyone embodying the 5 virtues.
Let's run through those. You have Zhen, which is goodness.
Benevolence.
Li, that's propriety, right conduct. Yi, righteousness. Zi, which is wisdom. And Heshen.
Faithfulness.
Yeah.
Trustworthiness.
So if we connect this back to Zoroastrianism, one is looking up at the cosmos, at this grand moral choice.
While Confucianism is looking directly at the community, it's focused on creating a perfectly functioning human society. Right here, right now.
Okay, we've done cosmic war and social harmony. Now for a huge shift, let's head south to India to a philosophy built on radical nonviolence.
Jainism.
Led by Mahavira around 599 to 527 BCE. He was known as a Jina, a conqueror.
A conqueror of inner passions, yes. And the whole system is built on one staggering core belief.
Ahimsa.
Absolute nonviolence. The
Okay.
sources called it the noblest form of religious conduct.
And this isn't just about not hurting other people.
No, it's about not hurting any living entity, which they call a jiva, a soul. And it has to be practiced in thought, word, and deed. The depth of that conviction is just incredible. It leads to these extremely stringent dietary rules. Jain vegetarianism is famously strict.
I found this one detail just amazing. They prohibit root vegetables. So no potatoes, no carrots, no onions. But why? They're just plants.
It boils down to minimizing harm. The logic is if you harvest a potato, you kill the entire plant, the entire jiva, and you might harm the tiny microorganisms living in the soil around it.
Whereas if you pick an apple from a tree,
The tree remains. You minimize the disruption of life. It's an absolute commitment to non-injury.
that detail really drives it home. And this whole practice is aimed at eliminating karma, but they see karma very differently.
Very differently. In Jainism, karma isn't some abstract principle. It's described as a physical, sticky, subtle matter.
So every action you take, good or bad, literally attracts these particles that weigh down your soul.
That's the idea, yes. So the goal is to purge all of this karmic matter to achieve moksha, release from the cycle of reincarnation.
And this dedication leads to some really intense practices. You see it in the two main sects, the Shvetambaras, the white-clad monks,
Who wear simple white clothing.
and the Digambaras.
The skyclad.
The Digambaras take that idea of non-attachment to its most literal end. They believe any possession, even clothing, is a barrier to moksha. So their monks go nude.
And then there's the ultimate act of detachment, which is highly respected. Salakana.
Salakana. It's a gradual, voluntary fast to the point of death. It's a decision undertaken only by those who feel fully prepared and detached from the world. It is seen as the ultimate conquest of the physical body. It really puts our own minor struggles in perspective. Okay, let's pivot again, back to China, but this time to a philosophy that encourages a radical lack of struggle, Taoism. If Confucianism is the hard set of rules for society,
Taoism is the guide to flowing around them. It's traditionally linked to Lao Tzu, the old master, and it's all built around the Tao.
the way, but it's famously hard to define.
Because it's eternal, it's unseen. It's the unnameable principle that governs everything. Our sources often compare it to water.
Right. It's soft and yielding, but it has immense power.
And if the Tao is the flow, the key concept for how we should act is Wu Wei.
Which literally translates to not doing.
But that's so misleading. It doesn't mean being lazy.
Not all.
Wu Wei means effortless action. Action without striving. It's about acting spontaneously, aligning with the natural flow of things without all that unnecessary struggle and ambition.
It's about being incredibly effective because you're not fighting the current.
Exactly. And the symbol that represents this balance perfectly is the yin-yang.
You have yin the dark, cool, passive feminine side.
And yang, the bright, warm, active masculine side.
But, and this is a crucial distinction from Zoroastrianism, these two forces are not at war.
They're not adversaries at all. They're
Yeah.
complementary. You can see it in the symbol. Each half contains a small dot of the opposite color.
Meaning everything contains a bit of its opposite.
And they can't exist without each other. Your role isn't to pick a side and fight. It's to harmonize with that natural balance.
That is such an essential dividing line. The adversarial dualism of Zoroastrianism versus the complementary dualism of Taoism.
And it wasn't just theory. Taoist ideas have deeply practical applications. Think of Tai Chi for harmonizing your inner energy, or Qi.
Or feng shui, arranging your home for balance and flow.
Exactly.
Okay, this philosophical journey now takes us to our final system in Japan.
Shinto.
Shinto, the way of the divine. And it's unique among our five because it has no single founder, no official central scripture from its early days around 200 CE.
It's a truly indigenous system, tied deeply to the Japanese homeland itself.
So if there's no founder or main text, what's the core belief?
The kami. And kami aren't necessarily gods in the Western sense. They are superior or divine spirits.
And they're everywhere.
Everywhere. In powerful natural objects, mountains, waterfalls, ancient trees,
Hmm.
but also in venerated ancestors, even great leaders. It's a deep connection to the sacredness of a place.
The mythology itself establishes that connection. Our sources mention the creation myth of Izanagi and Izanami.
Right, the founding couple who created the first island of Japan by dipping a spear into the ocean. Their daughter, Amaterasu, the sun goddess, is the most revered kami of all.
So because Shinto is all about being in the presence of these powerful kami, the whole system seems obsessed with ritual cleanliness.
Absolutely. The most important practice is purification. You have to be ritually clean to be worthy of appealing to the kami.
This often involves ceremonial washing, right?
The Utate ritual, for instance, it's about washing away impurity, which they call kegare, and that's anything that separates you from the kami.
And the physical symbol of that sacred space is instantly recognizable, the Torii Gate.
The Torii is the gateway. It marks the transition from our mundane world into the sacred space of the shrine. You pass under it to enter the realm of the kami.
It's fascinating how it coexisted with other systems, too. When Buddhism arrived, Shinto didn't disappear.
No, it adapted. Often the Buddha was just seen as another powerful manifestation of the kami.
Wow. We have covered a remarkable amount of ground. From Iran to India to Japan, we've seen cosmic conflict, rigid social order, radical nonviolence.
Effortless flow and the sanctity of place, and the intersections are where you find the biggest takeaways. In China, Taoism and Confucianism became these two essential guides for life.
One for your public life and one for your inner life.
Exactly. Confucianism told you how to act in your family and government. Taoism showed you how to find personal, spiritual harmony.
And the ethical engine of Jainism, ahimsa, its influence is still felt today, far beyond India.
Oh, absolutely. Our sources confirm that. Mahatma Gandhi drew heavily on ahimsa for his entire strategy of civil disobedience.
He saw it as an active, powerful political tool.
And that thinking was later adopted by Martin Luther King Jr. That influence just spread across continents.
This deep dive really proves these systems weren't just abstract ideas. They were practical blueprints for how to live.
They provided structure in a world that was getting more and more complex that gave people sophisticated reasons for moral conduct.
So, what does this all mean? We've looked at how these ancient thinkers defined the forces of morality and the universe, and it seems like there were two fundamentally different models of dualism on offer.
That's the key synthesis, I think. Zoroastrianism gave us this external adversarial dualism. Ahura Mazda versus Angra Mainyu. Existence is a war, and you have to choose a side.
And that worldview, it heavily informed a lot of Western religious thought.
In powerful contrast, Taoism established an internal complementary dualism with yin-yang. The opposing forces are balanced, they're essential, they're not fighting.
And the human role isn't to fight, but to align with that flow.
So the provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. These ancient systems offered two paths to meaning. As you go through your day, think about how your own culture defines good and evil. Is your default setting a cosmic battle you have to fight and choose sides in?
Or is it an essential natural balance that you just have to learn to flow with? It's a fundamental choice that ancient philosophers offered, and it still defines so much of our world today.